Welcome back to Narrations. Tonight's story is not soft in pastel colors. It's loud, messy, adult, and then unexpectedly tender. Jerry Maguire isn't just a sports movie or a rom-com, it's about ambition cracking open. About ego collapsing. About love arriving when you've lost everything else. This is the story of Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire knows how to win rooms. He walks through glass office doors like he owns the air inside them. Phone pressed to his ear, voice calibrated between charm and authority. His world is built on momentum. Sports contracts, endorsement deals, fast flights between cities, hotel bars where conversations feel important because they are expensive. He is a top agent at Sports Management International, a firm where relationships are transactional and loyalty is measured quarterly. Jerry excels here. He remembers birthdays, sends gifts, makes athletes feel understood. At least enough to keep them signed. He laughs easily, promises confidently. He lives on adrenaline and applause. He has a fiancée, Avery, polished, ambitious, perfectly aligned with the image he projects. Their life is curated. Their future planned. They fit together like two successful resumes. On the surface, Jerry's life is flawless. Underneath, something hollow hums. The crack begins with a concussion. A hockey client is injured mid-game. The hit is brutal. The crowd gasps. The athlete stumbles, disoriented, barely able to stand. Jerry watches from the stands, calculating impact, career longevity, endorsement value, and suddenly feels disgusted with himself. The athlete's young son watches too, wide-eyed, unaware of how disposable his father has become in a system built on performance. Jerry returns to his hotel room that night unsettled. He pours a drink, turns on the television, mutes it. The silence grows louder than noise. He thinks about how many clients he represents. Dozens. He thinks about how many he truly knows. Very few. He thinks about how often he says, "I care about you," and how rarely he means it deeply. Something in him snaps, not explosively, but quietly. A moral awakening that feels inconvenient and necessary at once. He opens his laptop. And he writes. A mission statement. The things we think and do not say. He writes about fewer clients. About deeper relationships. About caring personally for athletes instead of managing them like inventory. He critiques his own industry. Its greed, its detachment, its performance of loyalty. He writes all night. Fueled by conviction. By guilt. By clarity. The next morning, he distributes it to the entire company. The reaction is immediate. Colleagues clap him on the back. Call him brave. Visionary. Inspirational. And within hours he is fired. Corporate admiration evaporates into liability management. Jerry is escorted out with a severance package and a goldfish in a plastic bag. The office's quiet symbol of how quickly you can be replaced. He stands in the middle of the bullpen, heart racing, adrenaline spiking, and makes a reckless plea. "Who's coming with me?" Silence. People look at their desks. At their screens. At their future. Only one person stands. Dorothy Boyd. Dorothy is not part of the glamorous inner circle. She works in accounting, steady, practical, observant. She's a single mother with a small son and bills that don't pause for principle. But she read the mission statement. And she believed it. Not because it was profitable. Because it was human. She grabs her purse and walks out beside him. Not because she's impulsive. Because she thinks integrity is worth following. Jerry assumes the fall will be temporary. He believes his charisma will shield him. That clients will remain loyal out of gratitude. They don't. One by one they leave. Competitors lure them away. Contracts evaporate. Phone calls stop returning. The industry Jerry once navigated effortlessly now feels hostile. Soon, only one client remains. Tidwell. Rod is loud, emotional, fiercely proud. A wide receiver who believes he is undervalued, not just financially, but emotionally. He doesn't want a philosophical agent. He wants a fighter. "Show me the money," Rod demands. Not as a joke. As survival. Jerry promises he will. But Jerry is scrambling. Meanwhile, Dorothy's apartment becomes their new headquarters. It's modest, warm, cluttered with life. Dorothy's son, Ray, accepts Jerry immediately, asking innocent questions, offering childlike loyalty without condition. Dorothy sees Jerry's vulnerability up close now. She sees the panic he hides on the phone, the forced optimism, the late-night pacing. She also sees the part of him that wrote the mission statement, the part that wants to matter for more than commission. She falls in love with that version. Jerry, exhausted and afraid of failing alone, mistakes her devotion for destiny. He proposes abruptly. Not with fireworks. With urgency. Dorothy says yes. Because she believes in him. Their marriage begins tenderly but unevenly. Dorothy loves openly, emotionally available, hopeful, steady. Jerry loves cautiously. He is grateful. Protective. But somewhere inside, he is still chasing validation from an industry that rejected him. He works tirelessly to secure Rod's contract, negotiating aggressively, enduring humiliation, begging for meetings. Rod, in turn, pressures him constantly. Demands loyalty. Tests his patience. Their relationship becomes symbiotic. Rod needs Jerry to believe in him. Jerry needs Rod to succeed. Meanwhile, Dorothy senses the imbalance in her marriage. She wants partnership. Jerry offers presence but not surrender. There's affection. There's domestic warmth. But there is distance too. And distance, unaddressed, grows. Jerry builds his second life on one client. Rod Tidwell becomes more than an athlete on a roster. He becomes proof that Jerry's new philosophy might work. Rod doesn't want to be one of many. He wants to be the only one that matters. "Don't just represent me," Rod tells him. "Love me." At first, Jerry hears it as theatrics. But slowly he understands. Rod doesn't just want a contract. He wants respect. He wants someone to fight publicly for his worth in an industry that measures men by numbers and discards them when they fall short. Jerry throws himself into Rod's career obsessively. He negotiates aggressively. Makes late-night calls. Flies cross-country for meetings that may not even happen. He learns to say Rod's name with conviction instead of calculation. Meanwhile, Dorothy watches from the edges. She believed in the man who wrote the mission statement, the man who wanted fewer clients and deeper relationships. But the irony becomes clear. Jerry still works constantly. Still lives on the phone. Still measures his self-worth through professional validation. The difference is subtle. Before, he chased applause. Now, he chases redemption. Dorothy loves him anyway. She cooks dinners he forgets to eat. She stays up waiting for him to come home. She encourages him after setbacks. She believes in Rod's potential because Jerry believes in it. But she begins to notice something painful. Jerry is present physically, absent emotionally. He is kind, gentle with Ray, appreciative of Dorothy's support, but there is a guardedness in him. A part he keeps sealed off, as if fully loving someone might expose weakness he cannot afford. Dorothy confronts it softly. She asks if he's happy. He says yes. She asks if he loves her. He says he does. But the words feel rehearsed. And Dorothy knows the difference between being loved and being needed. The fracture widens quietly. Rod's season becomes pivotal. He plays harder than ever, desperate for recognition. There's a game that changes everything. A brutal hit. Rod collapses on the field. The stadium falls silent. Jerry watches from the sidelines, heart pounding, not as an agent calculating loss, but as a man terrified of losing someone he cares about. Rod stands. Slowly. Raises the ball. The crowd erupts. That moment, raw, triumphant, redefines their partnership. Rod earns his contract. The money finally comes. The phone calls shift tone. Jerry's belief is validated publicly. Rod shouts into the phone, emotional, overwhelmed. We did it! And for the first time, Jerry feels pride that isn't hollow. He didn't just secure a deal. He stood by someone. But professional success doesn't fix personal distance. Dorothy reaches her breaking point quietly. One night, after another emotionally flat exchange, she admits the truth: she doesn't feel him fully there. She doesn't feel chosen. She feels supported, but not loved in the way she loves him. Jerry listens, confused and defensive at first. He insists he's trying. That he changed his life for this philosophy. Dorothy's voice trembles, but she stays steady. I don't want to survive you. I want to be with you. They separate. Not angrily. Not dramatically. With sadness. Jerry returns to an apartment that feels emptier than when he was fired. He has professional redemption now, industry respect returning, Rod's contract secured. But he has lost intimacy. And for the first time, the silence doesn't feel like peace. It feels like consequence. He attends a women's support group with Dorothy one afternoon, not invited to speak, just to observe. He listens to women talk about compromise, disappointment, settling. He hears his own shortcomings in their stories. The realization lands without fanfare. He loved Dorothy carefully. Because careful love feels safe. But safe love isn't whole love. Jerry shows up at Dorothy's house unannounced. He doesn't bring grand gestures. No dramatic props. No rehearsed speech. He simply speaks. He tells her he was selfish. That he confused gratitude with devotion. That she deserves a partner who shows up completely, not halfway. You complete me, he says, not as dependency, but as recognition. Not because she fills a void, but because loving her fully allows him to be fully himself. Dorothy interrupts gently. You had me at hello. The line isn't about perfection. It's about clarity. They stand there, flawed, aware, choosing each other intentionally this time. Jerry Maguire isn't about winning contracts. It's about losing everything you thought defined you, and discovering what actually matters. Sometimes love doesn't arrive when you're successful. It arrives when you're finally honest. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this narration, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next story.